Yofes Yichosom Shel Avdei Ovois Miterosom Shel Bonim. In Parshas Chayei-Sarah, we find a highly detailed account of Eliezer Eved Avram going to find Rivka and bringing her back to marry Yitzchak. Why does the Torah give us such a highly detailed story, 67 psukim, the longest chapter in the Chumash, to tell us something which I could have said in one pasuk? In one pasuk we could have said, and Avram sent Eliezer to the house of Lavan to bring Rivka back to marry Yitzchak. That would sum up the entire chapter. And yet we find every single detail told to us in the Torah. Clearly the amount of chachma here is what Chazal are referring to as Yofes Sichosom Shel Avdei Obas, the sicha, the simple way in which Eliezer, Eved Avram, expressed himself, and the way he went about his mission has a lot to teach us. So I'd like to have a look at three different aspects of this, which I find very interesting and very relevant also to our times and to our lives. The first is that Eliezer manages in the whole chapter to disappear completely as a private individual. The name Eliezer isn't mentioned once. He's always referred to as Eved Avram or Ha'ish, never as an individual. And why is that? Because he's able to completely negate what Chazal call bitul hayesh. He can negate his own interests and his own opinions and his own feelings and only work completely as a shliach, as a messenger, as an agent of Avraham Avinu. And by doing that, he achieves something extraordinary. He can do things that Avraham can do. And he knows that Avraham can do miracles. He himself as an individual maybe can do very little. So long as he thinks he's operating as an individual, he's limited in what he thinks he can achieve. If he knows he's a Yoda Arichta, he's simply the outstretched arm of Avraham Avinu, he can do anything. And this is the secret of shlichus. When a person knows that he's the shliach of a great person, or a shliach of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, then there's no limit to what a person can achieve. Because Eliezer's job was actually a mission impossible. There was no way that a person can, logically and in a natural world, travel to another country, to a place he's never been before, find a girl he doesn't know who she is, and bring her back and convince her parents to let her go. He's not going to kidnap her. He's going to bring her back out of her own consent and the consent of her family to marry Yitzchak. How's he going to do all this and find the right girl, this appropriate girl? There's no way in the world anybody can do this. So he thinks to himself, well, look, the only way I can do it is miraculously, with superhuman and supernatural assistance from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and I can only do that as a shliach of Avraham Avinu. So therefore, he knows the principle of shlichus. We all know that this is a secret that the Chabad use constantly, that every Chabad Rav all around the world in the most far-flung places, if you ask them, what's your role here in town? He won't say, I'm the Rav of the town, or I'm the Rav of a shul, or I'm a posek, or I'm a dayan, or whatever. He'll say, I'm a shliach of the Rebbe. And by saying that, he's magnified his own abilities 1,000 times over. Because if you feel you're a shliach of an Odom Gadol, or you're a shliach of your parents or your grandparents, or of your Rebbe, if the Rebbe gives you a mission to do and says, I have faith in you, you're the man, you can do it, and you know you're a shliach, then your potential is increased exponentially. The truth is, in the world in which we live in today, we look at our chayalim, we look at our soldiers in Eretz Yisrael today, fighting a very hard battle against the embodiment of evil and destruction and hatred, which is in Gaza. And what they are achieving is amazing. And this is when, as soon as somebody puts on a uniform of the Israeli army, of the IDF, he becomes a shliach of Klal Yisrael. And once you're a shaliach of the Jewish people, your abilities and your whole destiny is completely different. Such a person is living a Kiddush Hashem, is living completely for the nation of Klal Yisrael, and he ceases to exist as an individual. His own thoughts and his own feelings have to be completely locked away and only function as a shliach of Klal Yisrael. And that is the ability, and that is the zechus, and that is the tremendous power that the chayalim and the chayalot that they have in order to defend Klal Yisrael. And in that way, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and they're also at the same time, it's interesting, the Gemara in Kiddushin, Lamed Hey, the Gemara speaks about the fact that Kohanim, in the Beis HaMikdash, in a sense, have got a double role. On the one hand, they're shluchei d'Rachmana, they are the agents of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and they're operating, so to speak, on behalf of HaKadosh Baruch Hu to run the Beis HaMikdash and the Karbonos and the Menorah and the Keteres and everything. They're doing that, in a sense, on behalf of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. But the Gemara says, they're also shluchei didon. They're our agents. They're working on our behalf. They're doing things for us to bring us closer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So in a sense, every shliach in that sense has got this very beautiful and powerful mechanism going on, that he's working in a sense for the people who have sent him, and also working for HaKadosh Baruch Hu in order to achieve a goal which is greater than anything he as an individual could achieve. And this is our tefillah for all these chayalim, that they HaKadosh Baruch Hu should Gimalach Yitzabelach Lishmarcha B'chol Derachecha, that all our machshavas and our Torah and our tefillah, as we know, creates malachim, and these malachim should go and protect every one of these precious neshamas and protect them from the evil that they are fighting against, and bring them all home, Bez Hashem, safely. But the principle of shlichus is a foundational principle in the whole of Parshas Chayei-Sarah. And it's Avdei Avos, it's Eliezer who teaches us how to do this. He knows that he is able, as a shliach of Avraham, to achieve the impossible. The second thing that he knows is the centrality of chesed for the future of Klal Yisrael. When he's looking for the right shidduch for Yitzchak, he knows that he's got in a sense, a single issue criteria. And that is she a balas chesed? Does she have extreme personal generosity and selflessness and an ability to care for others and look after other people? Is she looking for opportunities to do chesed? And when he finds a girl who says, not only will I give you water to drink, but I'll also provide water for your camels, he knows he's found a girl who has a powerful drive for chesed, who of course eventually becomes Rivka Imenu, one of the greatest matriarchs of Klal Yisrael. So Rivka becomes, from this little girl, Eliezer spots her immediately through the criteria of chesed. So Parshas told us, also teaches us, that Eliezer also understood not only the importance of shlichus, but the importance of chesed on a Kabbalistic level. The Mekubalim here speak about the fact that Yitzchak represents Gevura and Din, represents the midah of absolute din, absolute perfection and dedication to Yiras Shamayim, to the extent of willing to give up his life, and actually in order to in some way combine the din with human affairs, he needed somebody who was a balas chesed. It's the combination of chesed and din, which is Yitzchak and Rivka, which lies at the foundation of Klal Yisrael going forward. So that's the second insight of Eliezer I'd like to mention. The third one is actually hidden in something symbolic. But again, it's a detail. If the Torah chooses to teach us a particular detail, in the detail there is a message. And this is a chazal in Bereshis Rabbah, brought down by Rashi, or at least part of it is brought down by Rashi, that when Eliezer meets Rivka for the first time and he finds out who she is and that she's willing to do the chesed that he's asked her to do, he gives her a gift. He gives her a gift of jewelry. And the pasuk goes, and we don't need to, why do we need to know what jewelry he gave her? Why are we interested in that at all? Why would the Torah give us a whole pasuk telling us what this is? Right? And yet the Torah tells us that he gave her nezem, Zohov Beka Mishkolo, a nezem, which either means a nose ring or an earring. Beka Mishkolo had the weight of a beka. Beka is a chatzi shekel, and shnei tzemidim al yodeha, and 2 bracelets on her hand. Asara Zohov Mishkolom, weighing 10 units of gold. Why do we need to know this? One is a Beka Mishkalo, one is a Zohov, one is 10 Beka. Why are these details at all interesting for us? right? It could have just said he gave her a gift or gave her some jewelry, whatever it is. Why is this important? So Rashi brings down Chazal that in these words contain a remez, a symbolic meaning of of an extremely important message that he was giving her. And these messages also reverberate throughout Klal Yisrael, throughout history, and even till today. What was the Beka Mishkala? Says Rashi in the name of the Medrash Rabbah. The Beka Mishkala was the Chatzi Shekel. Beka Lagulgolas. The word Beka means the Chatzi Shekel, which was famous in the Torah to be the way in which Klal Yisrael were counted. Right? Everyone gave a Chatzi Shekel, and that was the way every year. Every year, the Chatzi Shekel was collected. And what was it collected for? It was collected in order to create an achdus among the Jewish people. They were all together, right, contributed to a fund. And by contributing to that fund and using that fund on a regular basis to bring korbanos in the Beis HaMikdash that were korban tzibur, you're part of the tzibur. Every day there were korbanos brought on behalf of the Jewish people. And the way in which I, as an individual, were part of that tzibur was by giving a chatzi shekel. So the chatzi shekel represented the fact that everybody felt a tremendous unity together. That unity created an energy which was and still remains to this day. We see today in Israel people who were at each other's throats just a few weeks earlier are today completely fighting shoulder to shoulder and supporting each other and complimenting each other and mourning each other and really feeling a oneness and a connection to each other, which is absolutely astounding. I spoke to my daughter today in Israel. She spoke to me about a project where thousands of people are baking challah, right? And packaging them and putting a little peteg inside with good wishes and sending them out to soldiers and to wounded people and to loans to all sort of people that they should get for Shabbos a hand baked challah put on a kosher, parva, mahadrin, whatever, all sorts of different ways of communicating to the soldiers that everybody's thinking about them and that we're all with them and that we all daven for them and that they are our shluchim, that they're working on our behalf. And if they're working on behalf of Klal Yisrael, that is the Beka Lagulgoles. And the last one was Shnei Tzemidim Al Yodeha. He gives her these two bracelets, says the Medrash. Shnei Tzemidim refers to the two Luchos Habris. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, when he gave the Torah, gave us two Luchos, which were Tzamud. Now, Tzamud is a very powerful word, a subject for a whole drasha. But tzamud really means linked in such a way that one doesn't function without the other. And what were the two? Why did HaKadosh Baruch Hu give us the Torah in two luchos? He could have given it all on one luch. But the idea of two luchos is we are aware of the fact that from the point of view of our perception, there's a big difference between bein Adam l'makom and bein Adam l'chaveiro, the mitzvahs that we do to connect us to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the mitzvahs of tefillah and Shabbos and kashrus, etc., talis and tefillin connect us to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and the mitzvahs of chesed, where we refrain from damaging other people and we are assisting other people, we engage in tzedakah and in rachamim, the bein Adam l'chaveiro, the sensitivity to others, right? That is a separate luach, but the chiddush of the Torah is that they are shnei tzemidim, that they are tzamud. And the Ber Yosef, Rabbi Yosef Salant, has got a whole beautiful piece on this, how the message that Eliezer was giving to Rivka was, it's true I've tested you in bein Adam l'chaveiro, in chesed, but you should know that going forward, chesed is only half the story. It has to be tzamud, it has to be connected and intrinsically integrated into a life of avodas Hashem, a life of tefillah, a life of Shabbos, a life of mitzvahs, and it's that combination which is the secret of Klal Yisrael. So it's the shlichus, and it's the combination of bein Adam l'chaveiro, bein Adam l'makom, all of which is interwoven into this parsha of Eliezer Eved Avram, and that's the sichosam shel avdei avos. And that is, Baruch Hashem, in the world we're living today, Klal Yisrael are fighting back against our enemies. The world is in shock because the world is not used to Jews fighting back. Jews should just let themselves be slaughtered. But the Jews are fighting back, and Baruch Hashem, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is giving us Hatzlacha, should continue to give us Hatzlacha, and should continue to protect all our Chayalim, and to restore back, bring back all the Shvuyim, and that Bez Hashem in the Zechus of the Chesed, and of the Tzamud, the connection between the Chesed and the Avodas Hashem, we should indeed be Zeiche Yeshuas Hashem, Keheref Ayin Omein.